want to welcome, and I asked if I could not stand all the way over there because that's such a long way away from you all. I wanted to be able to have a different connection and be able to walk around and see your faces and say hello. Good morning. I want to acknowledge the Larrakia Nations, the custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. Also want to thank all of the First Nations people who have served in the Defence Force, and some of whom have paid the ultimate sacrifice, so thank you. Well, just get my notes out just for a second. I reflected in preparation for today around the theme of nursing leadership unmasked. I also considered the theme for International Nurses Day this year, which was, oh goodness, not very technically challenged. It's not working for me, I'm sorry. And I'll just pop this over here because it's not working. That's not the plan. The theme for the International Nurses Day this year, which was about us taking our power and nurses having a voice and reinvesting. And I may not have got that exactly word perfect, but that's the theme. So I applied that theme to my thinking for today. And I know that some of you here, some of you online are fatigued. You have done it really tough. It's been an incredible past few years that we have faced challenges together, sometimes faced some of those challenges alone. And I want to just, I've heard a lot about the fatigue of our workforce, and I don't want to disrespect that. But what I do want to talk to you today about is that often when we talk about fatigue and we continue to talk to each other about our fatigue, and we talk about how tired we are, and we talk about how tired we are, and you say how tired you are, and then we just all feel more tired. And so I just want to stop us from feeling tired. So I want us to take back our power and harness an opportunity, because when we have a plan to move forward, when we seize that opportunity, and we can then move that forward and invest in ourselves and each other and our profession, then we stop feeling tired. Yeah? So that's what I want to talk about today. So I want to talk about the masks that we wear. And so on the left-hand side of the slide, you'll see those first 4 photos of myself and a couple of my team doing some COVID swabbing on the back of a patrol boat back in 2020. And part of that is because, we all know about donning and doffing. Everyone here is converted. And, the challenges of that, and that's what we've all lived for the last few years. And I guess I just sort of wanted to create that connection that, in defence, some of you won't know what defence nurses do. Some of you don't, you hear about things on the news. And some of the things that we do are exactly the same as the things that you do. We just might do them in different places. So, that was a very hot day after we all doffed, drank a lot of water, rehydrated, terrible. But I'm not going to complain in this forum because, so glad, I love the laughter. Then I've also got a couple of examples of the other masks. It could be about your hobbies, your passions. It could be about, the Avengers. My kids are Avengers fans, Marvel fans. So, those sorts of masks, we all wear those masks in different ways. But we also wear different masks. We have our social media masks where we say how fantastic our life or how fantastic things are. We wear a mask to work or amongst our friends because stuff might not be so great at home, and we have that thin veneer of we've got our stuff together and it's all good, thanks very much. Don't ask any questions, I'm fine, it's all fine, go away. Or sometimes it's about, being a mum at school, all those school mums. You want to seem like you're organised and your kids have got their sports gear on sports day and you've paid for that excursion and you've signed the slip. And then there's those stay-at-home mums that don't work and they just constantly make you feel a bit intimidated about how much they do. and you're working full time, and so you can't be in class reading, or maybe you just manage your shifts around all of that and you're just fantastic, and thank you very much for what you do. I'm not that mum. So we wear our masks, and I'm not going to challenge any of you today about the masks that you might wear and when you might wear them. And I'll move in a second to talking more about the PPE mask, because that's like a safe place, right? Nobody's going to get challenged by that here today. But you need to move away from whatever the threat is to feel safe to take your mask off. And I want to talk about when we take our mask off. Nearly got it wrong. Even that's really easy. So when you lift your mask, right, you come out of the room, you've just done your patient care, or you have a tea break, and so you take your mask off, and you feel the air on your face, you take that breath. Depending on how long you've been masked up, you might even close your eyes and that breath. And there's that moment, that pause. And in that pause, it might be 10 seconds before you look down at your list and work out what you need to do for the next patient and reprioritise what you're going to do next. It might be a slightly longer pause where you are taking a tea break, the luxury. I work in an office, so I get that luxury occasionally. It's usually coffee, not tea though, to be honest. You might take that break. It might be for 20 minutes or half an hour. Or it might be as you're driving home after the end of your shift. Or it might be after coming to National Nurses Forum and you might be flying home. There's a pause where you have an opportunity to just think and reinvest and plan forward. And so I just want to talk today about where you reinvest. And you can reinvest in yourself. You can reinvest in your teams as a team leader. Or you can reinvest in the profession. And hats off, thank you to the college for inviting me to speak today, because they actually assist us on all of these levels. So that's the ivory tower, right? Because I'm here speaking today, like everything's perfect. That's me. So I'm going to share with you how fantastic I am at doing all of these things. Some of the people in the audience know that that's not always true. And we can have coffee and talk about that later. So investing in myself. A couple of years ago, those of you who were able to join us on Tuesday for the military faculty hosted day, thank you Amanda for organising that. Amanda, there you are, thank you. And to the history faculty, we heard from Commander Nathan Saunders, fellowed yesterday, congratulations Nathan, on being a commander of a health unit in Defence. A couple of years ago, I was in the similar role, different location. Northern New South Wales will be the best. And no rivalry, right? But we all love each other. So what I did when I came home from that, I did a couple of things. That was like a really, really tough gig. And came home, I bought a puppy. So my puppy invested in me every day when I go home now. There are no photos of him. Oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional. I love my dog. There are no photos of him because once I put one photo up, then he's too adorable and you would all love him and you'd want to see more photos. So, they're on my phone. Come and see me later. He's a cavoodle. He's gorgeous. He's just happy every time I come home. And so he keeps me from staying at work too late. So he makes me want to come home. And that's good. Because otherwise it's too easy to spend too many hours at work. I invest in myself by spending time with friends. Not so much with my family because they're in Perth and the WA, the iron ore curtain of the last couple of years, it's been tough. But my brother's a fly in, fly out. Yesterday morning he was here at Darwin, so I got to have breakfast with him. It's amazing. Thank goodness for the tides coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Thank you. Sometimes some things go our way. I invest in myself through professional, personal development, through all of those things. And the college helps us to invest in ourselves. Graduate certificates, professional development, connections, networks. The college invests in each of us. How many people here received one of those care packages over the last few months? Amazing. And do you know what? Each of you invested in me when you went onto Nurse Strong app and you shared your story and what it meant to you. How exciting. It was fantastic to see. So thank you to the college, but thank all of you. It's amazing. So that's investing in yourself. As a team leader, in defence we move teams every couple of years, but then elements of my team move, like we don't all move in and out at the same time. So, you know, the sense of a team is constantly evolving. And you can have a fantastic group of people and one person moves in or moves out, and that changes the dynamics, and so you have to reinvest in how we work together again. So the team that I joined this year had spent the last couple of years all working remotely, very stovepiped, and they'd forgotten how to support each other, forgotten how important it was to know what everybody else is doing and how their work is impacting on each other, so that they can just reach over and say, hey, do you need a hand with that? Oh, I heard you have that phone call, I can help with that. That teamwork. So we've invested in coming back together as a team this year. And I would also say the college assists us with that again as well. Like the Nurse Strong community, the opportunity to be here together, individuals or as a team, providing opportunities and ideas. You know, someone posts a question, hey, has anybody done this? And then everybody jumps on board so that you can then take that into your team. Some of the questions and answers and the engagements, fantastic. So the college helps us to do all of this. Investing at an organisational level. You don't have shoes on, you can feel stuff on the carpet. Sorry. It's not a WHS risk, Christine, I promise. I did a risk assessment, it's all good. And at an organisational level, so I am incredibly fortunate. I'm a very proud Air Force nurse. I'm a proud nurse. I'm proud to be an Air Force nurse. And just at the moment, I'm filling the role of the Director of Defence Force Nursing. It's awesome. It means I get to tell you and provide opportunities such as Tuesday with Captain Garlick as the Chair of the Military Nursing Faculty to have a platform for you to see how amazing our nurses are. They're awesome. So much talent. It's so exciting. It's so easy to be proud of them. They're fantastic. You should all talk to them. That's why they're in uniform, so they stand out. And as a Director of Defence Force Nursing, I get to have a voice. I've always got an opinion. I'm also usually right. When I say usually, always. If I change my opinion, it's because I've got new information, but that still makes me right, because I'm still right. We joke about that in my team, but I'm right. So I get to invest at an organisational level in my nurses. My nurses, see, I take ownership as well. We have, worked hard to get across the line a new capability description and a definition that explains to the rest of the department, not just in health, but to our warfighters, to everybody, about what a nurse brings from a capability perspective at every level in the structure that we're creating. It's incredibly exciting. Warfighters understand stuff. They're smart people. We talk about warfighters, that's like the pilots, infantry for the Army, for the Navy, people who drive the ships. That's not the right term. And they understand capability. They understand risk. So we need to be able to talk in terms that they understand so that they can better engage, support, and understand our health component of the workforce. Our health workforce, what we deliver for capability, how we support them, and what they need to support them, because they don't always need a doctor. Oh, there's some editing, right? You can take out the facial expression. Can't play poker. So it's really important, really empowering, and that's what I get to do in my job. Fantastic. But also, ACN, again, helps us. Kylie, you heard yesterday speaking about power, passion, and the politics. And she is such an effective advocate and face and voice for all of us. But we can help support the college. We can invest in the profession, whether it's supporting the studies, the papers, the positions, the research, the data, the recent investment in violence and sexual assault, sexual harassment of nurses. All of that, every single one in this room and online, thank you all, are all able to contribute to that. And if you invest in that, and then you see what you've achieved because you've done something, you've made something better, and then I think you'll stop focusing on feeling tired because we've actually empowered ourselves to make a difference. So, did say proud Air Force nurse, right? There's my aircraft. That is not a doctored photo. That is actually, I'm not going to go into all the specifics, probably because I'll get them wrong as well, but Munitions Fight Out actually created that Love Heart Smoke. That's cool. That's an official image that anybody can get from Defence Images Gallery. So when you lift your mask, when you're in that safe place, you take a pause, take a breath, and decide how you reinvest in yourself, in your team, and as a nurse. I would just say, look after yourself, support each other, and take care. Thank you.
Come over here to me, Kat. I love this woman. She's so amazing.
It's the military. We're very good at doing what we're told.
Can we tell them what happened on Anzac Day?
No. Look,
Can
sure.
we?
There are people here that know.
There are, but not everyone knows.
No, not everybody knows.
So what happened on Anzac Day in 2020, which was the International Year of the Nurse and the Midwife, arrangements had been made that on Anzac Day civilian nurses would be invited to march with Defence Force nurses, but unfortunately, as we all know, that didn't happen, and Anzac Day in 2020 was celebrated in a very different way. And this year, through Kylie and Alison McMillan and Kathryn's efforts, some of us were invited to march on Anzac Day. And it was, for those of us who were able to go, utterly amazing. And so thank you for enabling us to do that. We are in awe of what you do. So I'd just like to point out that the purpose of using the app and asking questions is to ask questions. Thank you to Vicky, who said good morning.
Hi.
And thank you to Rosalind, who's bemoaning the fact that because she's watching online, she's not getting any loot. I think we might send a care package to Rosalind if we can find out where on earth she is. And thank you to Jo Butler, who echoes my words. Thank you, Kathryn, you are truly inspiring. And no one's got any questions for you.
It's because they don't know about Anzac Day.
It's because they didn't know the answer.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, all right.
Got my glasses.
Thank you. There is a question. Oh, look, okay, we'll just see what happens. Well, that was generous of you. So I've hit the top 3 questions. There is a question. What are some of the strategies that you used to bring your team together to build cohesion?
Well, you know how I started off with saying I'm always right? That's one. Communication. So I sat down and spoke with the team, encouraged them all to come back to the office and explain to them why that was important. The most exciting thing was they found out that I was right because...
It's only a question of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look, it's such a fabulous company to be in. So they found out that I was right because when they were in the office, they had the corridor consults. So people who walked past and said, "Oh, friend, you know, good to see you. I've been looking at X, Y, or Z." And so they have that opportunistic conversation. And so then they see the value and they see what they've missed by being in the office. The way they work together, the way they talk to each other. They don't need me, like 6 months later, they don't need me anymore to inject and support or encourage because they're now just seeing the benefit and they are working as a team together. So I would say one of the biggest things is communication. But also I could see what was missing and perhaps they couldn't. So having a conversation with them about why I thought that was missing helped them, and then I think they just all embraced it. It also helps because, you know, in the military we can tell people to do stuff. So.
Oh. I think that segues beautifully into the next question. I'm only going to do one more question because we don't want to run behind time, and I know that you're around and you'll be happy for people to come and approach you and speak to you. But here's a real beauty. What's your leadership style, other than being right?
It's really funny when you work closely to the Chief of the Air Force and you can tell him that you're right. But he was also always right. He had more rank. My leadership strategy, I would say I am very adaptive in my style, in my language, and in my approach. I would say fundamentally as a nurse, I bring those nursing qualities where I can assess the other person and think about where they're coming from, and that helps me to frame my approach. I think I have been blessed to have good and bad leadership exposures throughout my career, and you learn just as much from the good ones as the bad ones. Someone very early in my career, fantastic nurse, amazing, inspiring person who went on to become our most senior ranking Air Force nurse, the first Air Force nurse to become a 1-star, which is a big deal. And he told me back when I was very young that whenever you look at a leader, you see the things that you like. You see the things that you want to emulate and you want to have a bit more of that. But you need to look a bit closer and look for the flaws, look for the faults, and make sure that you see them as a complete human, as a complete leader, because everybody has flaws and faults, except for Karen.
True.
And so what I have constantly done is sort of looked at my leadership, assessed and evaluated them, tried to adopt the things that I think could work for me, but also be aware that if I go too far or if I do too much of that thing, then I might also get that less attractive quality that perhaps I don't value as much. And so I try to do my best every day.
Brilliant. Loot. Thank you, Kathryn. There's a lot of questions coming up here, Kathryn, and I feel like we could have a very long and productive conversation about things. There's questions here like how incorporating new members into your team in the midst of a pandemic, which is not unique to your situation, but I think for all of us in recent times. Here's a really cute one. How has defence nursing changed since the times of Florence Nightingale? Have we got time? I don't think we have. Where do we start? And then, you know, but then the other one about nursing changing during COVID, and again, that's true for all of us. It's changed for everyone in every setting, hasn't it? Not just for you in the defence setting. So I'm sorry we can't get to all of your questions because they're great questions.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
That Florence Nightingale question, I just need to grab onto that for a second because we've heard some really powerful and important messages already in this forum this year. Nurses in defence and nurses everywhere are more than just a nurse. And we can do more. And we are incredibly powerful. And I'm blessed in defence that I've been given opportunities to do things initially. And I have seen our nurses that have gone before us that have been the first nurse to do a thing. And the organisation has seen, it's a bit like the Bible actually, the organisation has seen that that was good. And they did a really good job. And so more nurses are able to do that. And so I think if we don't necessarily stay in the Florence world where nurses were quite subservient and quite marginalised, I think let's take hold, let's demonstrate how amazing we are whenever we're given an opportunity and make it easier for those coming behind us.
Thank you. Lovely.